to Live in Letters, Part 2, a short story. With only the sound of a pencil writing and the rain from outside, there's a sense of peaceful yet melancholy silence in the air. Finally, after writing the last letter on the page, Tara allows the bittersweet tears to start falling down their cheeks and into their lap. After letting their emotions flow out of them, Tara pulls himself together long enough to look out the window and check the time. It's still raining out and it's almost 11 p.m. They probably shouldn't be driving in the dark this late with it raining out, but Tara knew that if they didn't take care of this letter, they wouldn't be able to sleep for the rest of the night. Sighing, Tara then grabs an envelope from their desk, sealing up their letter, not bothering to add an address or stamp. Shakily pulling themselves up from their desk, Tara quickly grabs onto their chair when they feel their legs almost give out on them. Laughing pitifully at themselves, Tara walks to the garage. Grabbing their keys from the small table sitting next to the closet, Tara then throws on a cheap green rain jacket. Moving through their cluttered garage door used mostly for storage, Tara pockets their letter and keys. Bending down, Tara grunts as they lift up the heavy sliding garage door. After zipping up their jacket, Tara quickly rushes outside, shutting the door to the garage behind them. Quickly rushing and unlocking their small, broken-down Honda, Tara jumps into the front seat. Letting out a small breath they hadn't even realized they were holding, Tara takes a minute to just sit in their cold, empty car and be surrounded by the pounding rain outside. After they start to shiver from the cold air and are no longer able to sit comfortably, Tara takes their keys from their pocket and puts them into the ignition, starting the car. Pulling the car out of the driveway, Tara starts to move down the streets of their neighborhood, watching their neighbors' houses blur by from outside. As they begin to near their destination, Tara can feel their body start to shake even more than it had been before. Seeing the streetlights on the highway and the stores open late into the night start to fade more and more, Tara turns onto a side road into a more wooded area of the city. Driving down the muddy dirt road, Tara lowers the speed of their windshield from the tree's canopy, protecting them from the rain. Finally, after driving for about another 20 minutes, Tara makes one last turn, parking at a gravel lot. Checking their pocket, Tara makes sure they still have their letter on them before turning off the car and stepping out into the rain. Just before shutting the car door, Tara grabs a small flashlight from the cup holder in between the two front seats. Turning on the flashlight with a quick click, Tara starts to make their way down the small gravel trail into the forest. Pulling their rain jacket tighter, Tara tries to protect their eyes from the rain. After walking for about 15 minutes, the trees start to open up until Tara is standing in a small clearing in the woods with an entrance sign hovering above them. Forcing their eyes downward, Tara avoids looking up at the words on the sign that have been engraved into their head. Cologne Memorial Graveyard. Taking in a sharp gasp, Tara feels a sudden shiver spread throughout their body as they start to make their way through the open clearing. Still staring down at their feet, Tara can see the other mossy-grown tombstones pass by them out of the corner of their eye. Eventually, they are standing in front of a slightly larger tombstone than the others. Taking another second to just stand in the rain, looking down at the ground, Tara lets their mind go numb for a short moment before forcing their head to look up. Looking up at the piece of carved stone in front of them, Tara takes in the scene that they've looked at so many times before. Absorbing in the two miniature American flags on either side of the tomb, saturated from the rain, the engraved metal on the stone with water droplets spitting on its crevices. Slowly bending down to their knees, Tara reaches into their pocket before placing their letter to stick out of a small brown box against the tombstone. Looking up at the dark sky, Tara closes their eyes after being hit by the raindrops. Thinking to themselves, Tara looks back down from the sky to their hands clenched in their lap. Hi, Tara starts before chuckling. That was a weak start, wasn't it? That was rhetorical. Shaking their head and slapping their cheeks, Tara forces himself to pull it together and starts up again. It's me, Pumpkin. Your little peach. Sorry that I came so late today, but I still haven't broken my promise yet, so I guess that's what should count in the end. Moving from their knees to sit fully down, Tara gives up on trying to stay dry with their jacket already being soaked. I wrote you a little story about us this time today, Tara continues. My letters are slowly becoming more positive, I hope, even if this one does have a little sad moments in it. I wonder who keeps taking your letters each night. I asked old Mr. Ori about it, but he assures me that he never touches these letters and that no one takes them during the day. It's probably just some small animals that are trying to make a nest, but I often like to imagine that it's actually you coming down to read what I write for you. Looking ahead into the dark woods, Tara keeps talking now, not wanting to stop. That's probably silly of me to think, but I guess it makes me feel better in a way. And that's all that you would want for me. Or at least, that's what everyone tells me. Looking around, Tara chuckles, thinking how creepy and maybe sad it would be if someone saw what they were doing right now. But after everything that they had to go through in the past, it doesn't bother Tara to worry about minuscule things like people judging others. Turning their attention back to the piece of stone in front of them, Tara continues with their little rant. I can practically hear you scolding me from above for being out so late right now. You always were the early bird out of the two of us, and I always was the night owl, wasn't I? People like to call us the sun and the moon whenever we were together. I don't really need to tell you who is who now, do I? Letting a sad smile rest on their lips, Tara feels the rain begin to slow down to a stop, deciding that was their cue to get going. All right, they start to finish up. I'll try and take your advice and actually go and get some sleep. I'll be back tomorrow, though. Hopefully earlier than I was today, but writing a letter every day can be difficult, so goodbye, love. As they walk away, back to their car, they take one more look behind them. For this is the first visit that Tara can truly say it's okay to go home.